Hi, my name is Marcus Green, and this is the second in our series of getting to know the people behind Moodle. Today, I'm talking to Juan Leyva, who is the apps product manager at Moodle in Barcelona. Morning, Juan. Thank you very much for giving your time up for us today. Can you tell us a little bit about your background and your position with Moodle and the things that you do for Moodle?
Sure. First of all, thank you for inviting me. I did a computer science degree in the Universidad Politécnica of Madrid and then an MBA. This MBA is from the Universitat de Barcelona. And I've been working with Moodle since, I think, 2003. I've done a lot of contributions to the Moodle community, and yeah, my first work after I graduated was related to Moodle. So all my professional life has been around Moodle. That's amazing for me. So once I initially started working for the private sector. And then I moved to the Ministry of Education at Madrid, and I stayed there for 3 years or so. And then I moved to a Moodle partner. I worked for this Moodle partner for 7 years, and then I finally joined Moodle HQ in 2014. So it has been 7 years working directly for Moodle, but not with Moodle. With Moodle, I started in 2003. Yeah.
And you and I have met in real life on several occasions. One of the both you, I started working with the mobile app, modifying my plugins, my gap fill plugin to work with it, and that's one of the reasons that you and I got to know each other. And one of the things that intrigues me is which specific organizations would gain, because you specialize in the mobile side of Moodle, the mobile app.
Exactly. I'm the Moodle Apps product manager.
Yeah.
And I lead this process of gathering and prioritizing product user requirements, defining the product vision and working closely with the developers and developers like you as well.
Yes.
So you can support your plugins.
Yeah. And you work with somebody called, is it Danny Palau?
Yeah, Danny, Pau, and Noel.
Yeah, you both have been fantastically helpful to me in my work and to other developers. And it's one of the things I think is really nice about it, and that you can reach out to the people who are actually creating the app. What sort of organizations, in your view, get the most benefit from using the mobile app?
Yeah, I think that any kind of education institution organization that is using the Moodle LMS for delivering online courses. But I think that the most that can benefit are those that provide education in the field. So because they can enjoy our offline capabilities. You know that the mobile application, it works offline.
Yes.
So if you live in a rural area or countries with poor internet connectivity, or because you like to be isolated from the world, maybe, in those cases, the offline capabilities are really helpful, because you can download a course when you have connection, then you can do everything, and once you are connected back to the world, then you can synchronize everything you did. So we've identified that this is especially useful for some institutions that they are fully aware that their learners are in this situation.
Yes, in fact, my involvement was driven when I had a request from a part of the world that generally has very good internet connectivity, but they'd experienced earthquakes and that had affected the connectivity. And they approached me to modify one of my plugins to work in that offline mode. And I think it's good that we've mentioned this earlier on, because I think there are people who are not aware that there is an offline mode. And for me, the first time I experimented with the forums, whereby you would write a response to a message, and then when you connected again, it would synchronize, was something close to magic. And leading on from that, are there some nameable or specific success stories for the mobile app?
Yeah, we have a few of them. I will start with one of my favorites. We work with a company that for creating a custom version of the mobile application for them, and they needed the app to work offline because they were doing their thing in a cruise ship. And of course, when you are in a cruise ship, traveling across an ocean or something like that, you don't have internet connection. Well, you can have, but it's so expensive, you know. So this company, they were specializing in cocktails. So they have courses for creating, cocktails, mojito, Moscow Mule, this kind of, super nice cocktails for a cruise ship when you are, chillaxing in the sun, you want a cocktail. So yeah, they use Moodle for that. They have a course for every cocktail, and then they use the mobile application. They downloaded all the courses with all the information, and they can learn while, being in the cruise ship. So this is one of my favorite clients, but also we've done things that had a direct impact on people, apart from those enjoying a cocktail, of course. There is an organization called Africa Rise, that of course they work with people in the field when there is not good internet connection. They teach them how to grow rice in an effective way using Moodle. So of course they needed the offline version of the mobile application. First of all, because in Africa, most of the kids, most of the people, they only have mobile phones. They don't have computers or tablets. They have just a cheap mobile phone, the very basic, model, but that it is able to install apps and use internet. So what they did, they went to, this institution, they have a small, areas where they provide internet connection. So they went there, they downloaded the courses, and then they went back to their place, and they were able to take the courses offline. And finally, we did something for an NGO that is called Uncharged, and they provided courses for people in areas in conflict, like Syria. And in this case, they also wanted the app to work offline because they were using SCORM content. They were packaging all the courses in the SCORM format, that because the mobile application is able to play SCORM packages offline, it was perfect for them. In fact, they funded the development of the SCORM support in the mobile application. And that was the typical win-win solution that everyone is happy with it.
That when you're talking about the specific features that it supports, some people may have looked at it a year or so ago and may not be aware of the additional things it supports. What are the most exciting new support additions? So you've got SCORM there, and SCORM is very widely used. Are there any other headline?
I would say that H5P support.
I was prompting for that.
Yeah, exactly. That's most of the content creators that are creating educational content, they are using H5P now. It's like de facto standard. Because it's so flexible, you can create micro learning content, or you can create large courses, videos, interactive videos. There is a lot of stuff around.
Good looking content as well.
Yeah, and good looking, that's very important. And also responsive content that it adapts pretty well to any device you have.
Yeah.
So it works very well in a small screen, a tablet, because SCORM is very old. It's 15 years or 20 years old, I would say, standard. So yeah, I know it's like prehistoric thing. So
Yeah.
with H5P, it's amazing because it also do all this magic of using statements for, tracking what are you doing, and everything works offline in the mobile application as well. So you can have a course with 5 H5P packages. You can download the courses, all the packages will download. You can do everything offline. And once you have connection, everything will synchronize. And then there you go. You will have your course complete and all the information ready for the teacher.
H5P is like the new SCORM, but in a good way.
Yeah, the good looking SCORM.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. And standardized as well, because anybody who's worked with SCORM over the years will know that when it does work, it's brilliant. But because there are so many different editors and it has to deploy on so many different platforms, sometimes the results can be unpredictable and uneven. And your reference there to microlearning, my next question was about that, and you've really answered it as to say that H5P is particularly useful for that. We're very excited. The whole Moodle world is excited about the arrival of Moodle 4, which is only a month or two away. And I was wondering, and I noticed the other night some designs for, I think you were probably involved with the new look and feel for upcoming versions of the mobile app. But I wonder what features of Moodle 4 will come in the next major release of the mobile app that we can get excited about.
Well, yeah, for the mobile application, what we are doing is basically a complete overhaul of the user experience. We've put a lot of time into user research, testing prototypes. The one you saw, it was a prototype, and we've been testing this with users from different demographics. And we want to do this to improve the way our users interact with the app. And one of the things that we are improving in this new version that is not coming with the LMS version because it's something specific for the mobile is the way we play the SCORM and H5P content. So it can be played, as full screen. We are adding a lot of flexibility in that aspect because we know that more and more institutions are using H5P and still using SCORM because there are a lot of content created using SCORM. So what we did is to, think about how can we improve how SCORM content and H5P content is displayed. And a very basic thing was to allow a full screen mode. The tip, that you click in the full screen, then the screen rotates, and you can see the SCORM package using the whole screen. You don't see the status bar, the Android or iPhone or iOS status bar. You don't see the bottom navigation menu. You only see the content. Then you can easily skip and continue to do your learning. And that's so. Apart from all these new user experience improvements, user interface improvements, we are adding this and we are fixing a few low-hanging fruit things, typical things that have been there for several versions, people complaining. Yeah, that's what we are doing, and hopefully we'll be ready for the end of January.
Oh, that's really cool. The thing is, when you're limited on the amount of screen space, the ability to go full screen becomes really important.
Everything works offline, but there are certain limitations. For quiz, that there are some question behaviors, that very complex question behaviors.
Yeah.
Some of them are not supported offline in the app because they require you to connect to the server to analyze, do complex things. Yeah. And also there are security things. We can make the quiz to work completely offline in the app because that will mean that we will have to download the information for the correct answers. So which is the correct answer? Yeah. And this is something that we can have in the app.
And that's the wonderful thing about the Moodle quiz is that at no point are the correct answers downloaded before you're allowed to see the correct answers. And I see this frequently where people say, how can I cheat on Moodle quizzes? And the answer,
it's not possible. You can't.
Yeah. And if you want to do quizzes like that interactively, H5P will deliver not the full functionality, but certainly a kind of quiz where you get feedback
Exactly, immediately.
Yeah.
But this is why H5P shouldn't be used for evaluation, because you can cheat. It's the same as a SCORM.
Yeah. And I frequently comment on that to people. I say, don't use H5P for high stakes assessment. And when I say that, I'm not saying it's a bad thing. I'm not saying it's, don't use it at all. It's just be aware of that potential limitation. All tools have the limitations.
SCORM is great for self-assessment.
Learning.
If you want, self-learning. If you want to check how are you progressing in your learning, but not for final assessment.
Well, I'm a big fan of people learning things. I'm not that excited about assessing them, because if you manage to get them to learn things, then the assessment should be just a formality, you hope.
Yeah.
Now, several years ago, I was very excited when you did those modifications to make it easier for third-party developers like myself to adapt plugins for the mobile app. Having said that, and you did it was a fantastic jump in ease of use, but at the moment, and I monitor this quite a lot, there's only a limited number of third-party plugins that support the mobile app. Do you have any plans to encourage people to adapt their plugins or to...
we recently updated our developers documentation and tutorials. It was a huge effort, but we feel it was worth it. Yes. And we think that it will have an impact in encourage people to adapt their plugin.
Yeah.
In addition to that, we are always, available in the Moodle Developers Telegram chat for any question. Me, Danny, or Pau, or Noel.
Yeah, you're fantastic. Yes. You come back to people so quickly, and if anybody else is a developer watching this, in my experience, if your plugin works, well, I speak mainly about question types. The work to modify it to work in the mobile app really is trivial by comparison with the task of actually creating a plugin in the first place. So I think, and I'm. Yeah. The other thing is that I personally am very motivated by any kind of badges or merchandise or anything like that. So I'd recommend, lots of badges and merchandising.
I see that you are wearing a badge, by the way.
Did you notice that? That's my gap fill question type, which does work on the mobile app, of course. So thank you very much for your time today, Juan. I've got one final...
Yes, one addition to your previous question. We recently contributed to around a dozen of Moodle plugins, so they could be fully supported in the last version of the app.
Yeah.
So, we really care about plugins and we really care that they will work properly in upcoming versions of the app. So we are always doing this analysis process, you know, and this is why it's very important, if you're a developer and you're watching this, to register your plugin in the Moodle plugins database. Yeah. And there is a special badge, the mobile support badge. Yeah. You need to contact us and apply for that badge. So we know that your plugin is supported by the app, and then we can help you in case you're in need.
Yeah.
And also, I keep mentioning how you're good at getting back to people, but it's the Telegram Moodle developers channel is one of the places that you respond to people, and of course the forums on Moodle.org. And that's a great place before you ask a question to search if somebody else has already asked a similar question, so that you can get your question straight in your mind before you ask it. Thanks very much for joining us today, Juan. I really enjoyed talking to you, but I have one final, really quite important question that I'd like you to answer, and that is, last time you were in the UK, you came to my house and you had tea and scones in our kitchen. If you were to come back to the UK, would you do us the honour of visiting my house in New York again and having tea and scones?
Of course, but as long as your lovely wife is baking the scones. I mean, it's not that I don't appreciate your cooking skills, that I can imagine are good as well. But oh my God, her scones, they were super, they were so good that my daughters, they still remember when we were to York to have scones.
That's wonderful. Thank you very much, Juan. It's really nice to talk to you. And I'd really look forward to seeing you face to face in the real world in the near future.
hopefully, let's aim for 2022. Cross fingers.
It's going to be a good year.
I think that there will be something.
Yes,
I heard something. I'm pretty sure that we will get to see each other again in Barcelona or maybe in.
I love Barcelona. That'd be wonderful. Thank you very much for joining us today. Thank you very much. Okay, bye-bye for now.
Thank you. Bye.